Hey there, this is Megan at Praxis Metrics. I am here to walk you through our digital sales dashboard. Now, this was specifically built over the last 5 years to service our e-commerce brands. We've worked with over 155 different companies, and we found these to be the top KPIs that most e-commerce brands request out of the gate. So I'm going to walk you through from a high-level perspective the different sections, and then we can drill into individual KPIs. Now, what this is doing is this is taking all of your source data. Where did your customers come from? Whether it's from Google Analytics data or from paid insights from your advertising. And we're mashing that up with all of your e-commerce data, all of the transactions. That allows us to then see where my customers came from, what they purchased first, and then what else they came back to subsequently purchase over time. And that gives us the full customer journey and that lifetime value of your customers. So from a high-level perspective, we start out with an executive pulse that shows this month-to-date core KPIs in comparison to last month-to-date, so I can see instant trends and I can see if there's any red flags that I need to drill into. Then we dive into a summary of what our best customers look like versus our average customers. So I can instantly see, the customers that are worth the most in 90 days, where did they come from? What did they purchase first? What was their average order value? How long did it take for them to come back to purchase again? And what did their second order look like, yielding a full 90-day value for these customers? And then we have it in comparison to your average customer, right? Here's our average LTV, and here's where they came from, what they purchased, and then you can even go in and drill into specific sources and what that customer profile looks like over time, so that you can have a really strong comparison of what your best customer looks like, where they came from versus your average. Then we dive into top level, high overview revenue performance. What does our year over year look like? What does our month over month look like? And you can get as granular as daily. And then we can overlay that with your goals as well, so that you can see if we're up or down, and then what we are on track for our goal. In addition, one of the biggest problems that we see with e-commerce and really online, attribution in general is a problem with over attribution by your revenue or by your ad platforms. And so what we've done here is we've taken your individual ad platforms and we're showing you what they are reporting your ad revenue to generate, right? What they're attributing their sales to be. And then we're comparing it to your platform, the actual dollars and cents that you've collected, whether it's from Shopify, WooCommerce, Infusionsoft, Amazon, and we're saying, what's the difference between these? So instantly you can see, hey, Google seems to be over reporting our revenue by 100%. They said that they're responsible for $94,000 worth of sales, but man, I've only collected $47,000. And you can see each individual platform and how they're reporting, and we can even drill in and see individual campaigns and where that variance is happening, so that then your team can go and fix your tracking, and you can make changes in your tracking to adjust for this natural over attribution that happens by platforms. And then we can show over time that variance, and if your tracking is getting better or worse, and you can see over time we've gotten it down to 5% variance versus our reported ad revenue and our true revenue based on actual dollars collected. Then we dive into customer lifetime value. Now, most platforms have an LTV calculation built in them, but it is an aggregation and an average of all of your customers, and that's taking your best customers and merging them and mashing them together with your worst customers, right? That's saying I could have customers that pay me $250, but I have customers that also pay me $5 for a sample. So we don't really like to just base our decisions on an average LTV. Instead, we cohort it out for you based on the different variables that impact it. Namely, what is our customer value over time? Are we getting better or worse with converting these customers to pay on day 1, 30, 60, 90, and you can see that trend over time, and if your efforts are improving this or making it worse. Same thing, looking at discount codes. A lot of our clients want to compete with Amazon, and so they'll offer free shipping discounts. Well, is that actually yielding customers who come back and purchase again from you, or are you losing that money up front and then they never come back? Also, where did these customers come from? Looking at your LTV by source and showing them over time is a huge impact for our clients. And then obviously, one of the biggest ways to increase your customer value over time is to understand what they're purchasing first and then what they're upselling and coming back to purchase. So we're giving you all of these different reports at the touch of a button so that you guys can see your entire customer's journey and figure out how to really use this data to improve your customer lifetime value. Then we also get into your average order values. Not only, what's my AOV by state, but also drilling into individual zip codes so that you can hyper target with your ads, and then looking at your trends over time. In addition, we want to show you your repurchase rates and your retention rates of your customers. How many days does it take between your customer's first and second order, between their second and third, and their third and fourth? So we can show that and splice that in a lot of different ways, including where those customers came from. Then we dive into revenue. Now, what's great about this is we're not just taking your data from your transaction tools, we're also mashing it up with public data sets, because naturally, if you just look at revenue by state, it's going to be skewed, showing California, Texas, Florida, and New York as having high revenue because they have high populations. So what we're doing is we're taking the state population from public data sets and we're marrying that with yours to then see market penetration, to see, well, maybe we are having much better traction in DC and we need to hyper target our ads there because more of the populace buys our things. Then we dive into, typical KPIs like revenue by product, promo code comparison, percentage of purchases from new customers, including timestamps of what times of day people are most likely coming to order. And we can splinter that out by first purchases versus repurchases as well. Then we really dive into the details of your customer journey so that you can really improve this and looking at where the customers came from, what they purchased, at how many customers came through that, how much they spent, their CAC, revenue, ROAS, and then any sort of upsell insights as well. And then if you are an e-commerce business that is offering memberships or subscriptions or subscribe and save, we can also show you insights into your subscribers and your members. And we can show it by product. We can show your subscription trends broken down by those products, the percentage of customers with subscriptions, and then diving into even more granular, like how many of these subscribers are brand new versus ones that restarted subscriptions? What about ones that have canceled within the first month? Right? What are the normal active and then normal canceled as well? And then that's overlaid with your retention rate and your churn rate. Then we also dive into details like how many days before we see spikes in cancellation trends. And this helps you then with your nurturing sequences or retargeting campaigns to understand when you're losing these customers and when really to increase your reach out. Then we dive into, new versus canceled, just that subscription change over time, and even cohorts to look at each individual month of start of your customers and when they started versus how many are still active and then where they dropped off so that you can see over time if you're improving your retention rates to each of these milestones or if people are dropping off. So this is a high-level overview on how to use this digital sales dashboard. And really this was built over the last 5 years of interviewing separate clients and e-commerce brands to see what kind of questions they need answers to and what do they want at the tip of their fingers. If you have more specific questions, let us know.